There has been a lot of confusion recently around student loans for nurses, especially claims that nursing is no longer considered a professional degree and that federal loan caps could drop to around $20,000, limiting the ability to return to school for advanced practice careers like nurse anesthesia. If you are an ICU nurse planning to become a nurse anesthetist, this topic matters, but it also needs to be explained carefully because much of what is circulating online is incomplete, exaggerated, or misunderstood. In this video, we're going to walk through what actually changed, what did not change, and what this realistically means for nurses planning advanced practice education, where the $20,000 number comes from. The $20,000 figure that keeps showing up online comes from the federal direct unsubsidized loan limit. This loan category has existed for many years, and for graduate students, the annual limit is roughly $20,000 depending on the academic calendar. This number is not new. What has drawn attention recently is increased discussion around graduate loan exposure, particularly graduate plus loans, which historically allowed students to borrow up to the full cost of attendance. Some policy discussions are focused on limiting unlimited borrowing across many graduate programs, not just nursing. When people say nurses are capped at $20,000, they are usually describing one loan category, not the entire federal loan system. Is nursing no longer considered a professional degree? Short answer, no. There has been no federal ruling that nursing is no longer a professional degree. Nursing remains a licensed, regulated healthcare profession. Advanced practice pathways, including nurse anesthesia education, remain accredited and fully operational. What has changed is how certain government systems classify degrees for financial risk modeling. These classifications use technical program codes and are designed to manage loan exposure, not to redefine professional legitimacy. Unfortunately, that distinction often gets lost in social media discussions, leading to alarming and misleading claims. What has actually changed for nurse anesthesia applicants? For nurses planning to become nurse anesthetists, the biggest shift is not elimination of opportunity, but the importance of financial planning. Nurse anesthesia education has always required careful preparation. Even before recent policy discussions, students often relied on a combination of federal loans, scholarships, employer assistance, and personal savings. If loan structures evolve in the future, it does not remove the pathway. It simply means applicants need to think about funding earlier and more intentionally. Why programs are still operating normally? One important signal that often gets overlooked is that nurse anesthesia programs are still operating as usual. Admissions processes have not changed, classes are still full, students are still enrolling and graduating, programs understand the financial realities their students face, and many already provide financial counseling, scholarship guidance, and employer partnership information. If advanced practice nursing education were suddenly inaccessible, programs would not be able to function at current capacity. That has not happened. Why this feels scarier than it is. This issue feels especially alarming because advanced practice education is expensive and nurses understandably worry about access. Online discussions also tend to blur the line between policy conversations and actual policy changes. Short-form content often rewards dramatic claims instead of accurate explanations, which creates fear without context. When information is fragmented, it's easy to assume the worst. Context matters, especially when making long-term career decisions. How nurses can adapt without panic. Strong applicants have always adapted to changing circumstances, and that remains true now. Preparing earlier, understanding funding options, and being realistic about expenses makes a significant difference. Some nurses plan aggressively during their ICU years, others take advantage of employer assistance or scholarships, and many build a financial cushion before applying. None of these strategies are new, but they are becoming more important to think about earlier. Planning is not panic, it is professionalism. If this explanation is helpful and you want clear, data-driven guidance on nurse anesthesia, education, finances, and long-term career planning, make sure to subscribe. WISE CRNA focuses on clarity, not fear, so you can make informed decisions about your future. The long-term financial reality. Another part of this conversation that often gets overlooked is long-term return. Nurse anesthetists continue to rank among the highest paid advanced practice nurses. While education costs matter, the long term earning potential remains strong. That does not mean debt should be ignored or minimized. It means decisions should be made with full context, not based on headlines alone. What not to do right now. The worst response to uncertainty is panic. Making rushed decisions, abandoning long term goals, or delaying unnecessarily out of fear can do more harm than good. Policy discussions move slowly. Career decisions should be deliberate. Staying informed is smart. Reacting emotionally is not. What actually matters going forward? What matters most is understanding your options early, preparing academically and clinically, and approaching funding with intention. Nursing remains a professional field. Nurse anesthesia remains an advanced practice pathway, and students continue to navigate this process successfully every year. The path may require more planning, but it is not closed. Final perspective. This conversation is not about eliminating opportunity. It is about managing educational costs in a changing policy environment. Nurse anesthesia education is still achievable. Preparation, clarity, and planning have always mattered, and they matter now more than ever. Stay informed, plan early, and don't let fear-based narratives derail long-term goals.